Hey everyone, and welcome to a little side project I've been wanting to start for a very long time. My name is Dano, and you might know me from the HOTDROP PUBG podcast, which is a game I've been playing nonstop for about ever since it came out. But with this new series, I wanted to start a little side gig where I do run-throughs of my favorite games growing up, discussing things like level design, environments, weapon design, storytelling, and just overall why I think these games are so great. I'm kicking off this series, which I'll tentatively call Deep Dives with Dano, and this will be a run-through of Half-Life 1, the genre-defining first-person shooter that as of this year is 18 years old. I chose Half-Life because it's near and dear to my heart. It's a game I played growing up that spurred my interest in Counter-Strike, because Counter-Strike actually began as a mod of this game, Half-Life. And also because of the deep history of this game, the fact that it inspired so many games after it. So let's get into it. Let's kick it off with a new game. I'm not going to do the training room. This gives you a little bit of a rundown on how to play the game, but we're going to do an easy mode playthrough, just so I can take my time, talk to you guys, and have a relatively easy time playing it. I'm not trying to show off my skills here. I'm just trying to get through the game and do some commentary over it. This is going to be an episodic format, or episodic format, however you want to pronounce that. I'm going to do about an hour today, and then we will do another hour as time allows. I'll release these basically whenever I have time. It won't be on a structured schedule. Also, you're going to hear some whining, or I guess some noises in the background. It's basically my AC unit, and it's 95 degrees outside, so I need some air. So let's kick it off.
Good morning and welcome to the Black Mesa Transit System. This automated train is provided for the security and convenience.
We're in Black Mesa.
Black
That's
Mesa
all we know.
Research
We're on a train.
Facility personnel.
There's a guy. Oh, I can control my character. Okay. So you might think that you're on a cutscene or something like that, but no. In fact, we are on this train and we're able to move around. We're locked in this little box and we're traveling through this research facility, kind of checking out the different environments.
The Black Mesa compound is maintained at a pleasant 68 degrees at all times.
All we really see is a couple seats. There's no one with us. That was a very fast loading sign or loading screen there. But that's one of the things that makes this game pretty awesome. It's very, it's linear, but also it brings you from one environment to the next very quickly. It's chapter-based rather than level-based, which was a new thing at the time. They didn't really have any games like this that came out back in 1998. You're seeing some pretty interesting tunnels, some different textures. There's rockets in here. There's a lot going on, so you're just kind of digesting, you're sitting back, you're taking in the sights, the scenes and the sights. There's a forklift guy over there. And you'll notice it's pretty sparse. Like, this isn't realistic in any way, but they're very limited by the engine that they had at the time, which was the Gold Source engine, which I believe was based on the Quake engine, which came out around 97, 98. So now we're spinning around, we're going underground, we're seeing some God rays. Like, that's new. That's a pretty cool feature. So we have to play these games with the mindset that these things didn't really exist so much. They were very new as far as new technologies. And these are things that people would say, oh, wow, look how the light streams in there. Like, in reality, like, that's looks like nothing to us today, but we have to play it with a different mindset. Pretty sweet helicopter down there, some people running away from it. We hear the sounds. There's very good directional sound in this game as well, so we can hear the helicopter pass by from our left channel to our right channel. A lot of opening gates. Look at these circular textures and everything, the rounded edges. This isn't so easy to do. I mean, now with today's tools, like the Unreal Engine, I'm sure you could just whip this up in like 2 seconds if you're proficient with that, but back then, this was not so easy, and so they were sort of showing off a little bit, I think, here. Again, lighting sources. Now we're going to a dark tunnel, light to dark. Notice the different textures. We just went from stone to metal to now what looks like concrete. We went from square tunnels to circular tunnels. So now we're getting a little more information. We are Gordon Freeman, that's us. We play as Gordon. We're a male. We're 27 years old, and we're a doctor. That's pretty sweet. We went to MIT. Sorry. a research associate. It's our first day on the job. We're assigned to the Anomalous Materials Laboratory. These are pretty cool lighting things here, moving parts. And we're just seeing that this is a massive, massive research facility. It's populated by a whole bunch of different people. We see people running around. We see security guards, forklift guys, scientist-looking people. We see these sweet-ass robots. Check this out. This is one of the things that we'll actually interact with later on a little bit. Most of these environments we won't get a chance to check out later, which is kind of a bummer, because I always like the trope of seeing an environment that's working and clean and everything's happy, and then I like seeing it after a major event occurs where everything's broken, which isn't essentially this entire game, because we are able to walk through this entire research facility as soon as we get off this train in a state of repair and then a state of disrepair once we set off the resonance cascade. So we're going down some more tunnels. This is an extremely long sequence. I'm getting a little sick of it already. And this is the kind of stuff that you're not going to see in games nowadays. We'll come back to that in a second, but check this out. We see the G-Man for the very first time. We stop here. The game stops us here, and it lets us look at this. It's saying, like, look at this guy. Look at the guy with the suit. He's someone we haven't seen before, so take note, because maybe we'll see him later. He's very recognizable. And here's our first hint that there might be some problems in this research facility.
Now arriving at Sector C test labs and
Forgot what I was going to say, but basically we finally arrived. This is something. Oh yeah, this is something that you're typically not going to see so often in games. What was pretty great about one of the recent games, Doom, which came out in 2016, I think, was that it jumped you right into the action right away. And a lot of games are doing that kind of thing. It's good for storytelling and setting of an environment, this kind of thing, but I think this method of storytelling is a little bit outdated. We're running late. Security guide's punching us in here. And we're going to step out for the first time, finally able to control our character outside of this little box. So first thing I notice is that, holy crap, I move fast. I can switch directions super quickly, and I can jump, I can crouch, but that's all I can really do. I have no HUD, there's no heads-up display here, I don't know what my health is yet, and we're going to figure that out. We're going to just keep playing and take hints from the environment as we figure out what to do. One of the things I want to mention really quick, actually, before we step into this area, was this entire playthrough, this entire thing that I'm doing right now was heavily, heavily inspired, dare I say, ripped off completely, from a YouTuber and game designer known as Radiator Yang. He does this exact same playthrough. So if you're interested in doing this and seeing this from a developer or designer's point of view, I would definitely check out his series. I'm going to try to do some of the same things that he has done, as far as like showing off certain areas that I think is cool and sort of giving you some insight as to what, from what I understand, is some of the development difficulties and things that they went through to design this game. But he'll do a much, much better job. But I just wanted to call out that he was very much my inspiration for this, so I want to thank him for that, and let's proceed. So he's punching us into this research facility, front door. We don't know what's to come, but like the suspense is just building and building. We've got some really cool animation with these little wheels going into an airlock. And if I checked my my manual, I could see that I have a use key. So let's press a use key on this guy, see what he says.
Sorry, sir, I've got to stay in my boat. Can we do this later?
As you keep pressing E, you get more and more responses. Typical
Sorry, I'm on duty, Mr. Freeman.
typical video game stuff. But you can interact with the characters a little bit. And again, the graphics aren't so great, but honestly, they weren't even that great for the time. But it's still very playable. For me, it's more about gameplay than it is graphics. All right, so we see we're onto a new chapter called Anomalous Materials. We're inside this airlock, we're waiting for something to happen. And we're going to be welcomed into the Black Mesa Research Facility main desk. You see scientists walking around.
Hey, Mr. Freeman, I had a bunch of messages for you, but we had a system crash about 20 minutes ago, and I'm still trying to find out
Everyone
why.
knows who I am. Apparently, in this massive research facility,
We're having some problems
they
down
know
there.
me by name and face on the very first day.
They told me to make sure you headed down there as soon as you got into your hazard suit.
All right, so we just got our first objective. Get our hazard suit and head down to the lab. And this is something that video games these days will not do whatsoever. Basically, they didn't lock me in this room. I could run in through here and just skirt right by, run right by, having no idea what my objective is, what to do, unless I stopped here and listened to what this guy told me to do. And eventually I would stumble across it, but if it was today's video game, there would be a little dot hovering over his head saying talk to this guy, or like I'd be able to pull up my map and look at my objectives, or they would keep me locked in this place, so I had no choice other than to talk to this guy. But it was a different time back in 1998, and if you missed this little bit of conversation, you would miss what the entire objective of this level is, which is to get your suit and go into the lab. This is a pretty cool environment. It's a really big one. It's very tall ceilings. We do get a little bit of a map here, but it's so low res that it's difficult to really read. Like where am I? I guess I'm up there at the top right. I don't really know where I am, but I do know I'm in Sector C or in Black Mesa. That's pretty much pounded into our head, so that's pretty cool. We've got all these screens. Nothing really displays anything important. Oh, that does something. I was able to hit E on this little thing, but here's the thing, like, oh, I was here. Get out of here. What? Come on. So working with that, and now I can't open it again. He'll be dead soon. So anyway, this is one of the other things about old school game design is there's no button, there's no flashing light here. This thing looks exactly like any other texture. Nothing is really telling me that, hey, I can press this. So we can walk around a little bit. I feel like I'm just running, just furiously. We can see, we can't read anything on a screen, but if we crouch down, this is a little hidden Easter egg. Press this button.
My God, what are you doing? Come on, Gordon. You trying to get me into trouble?
Yes, I am. That's about it. We can talk to these scientists. They all look the same. They all have the same voice pretty much as well. None of them can be bothered. And this is another little gameplay hint. They just keep saying it. Wait till after the test. I'm busy. Which tells you there's nothing to do other than do the experiment. So let's keep going down this hallway. Figure out what the hell we're supposed to do here. Stopping along the way, chatting with these guys. Or not. Alright, so we're going to keep going. And again, we see the G-Man here. For the second time, he's talking it up with his scientist. Kind of floating a little bit on the ground or bouncing up and down there. Oh, he's upset. What you looking at? Kind of look like he has bell bottoms a little bit. Very square head. Anyway, we can't hear what they're saying. This door, well, that's a pretty good indicator that's locked. We can't get in there. We see some scientists doing their work. And we're going to continue on to the coolant reservoir, or whatever that stands for, facility.
You got the wrong airlock, Mr. Freeman. You know I can't let you through here.
All right, we can't go that way. And then we turn around, we see a first aid kit. Well, we try to use it, but it doesn't do anything. And we realize, oh, we don't have any health anyway, so let's press on and go back the way we came. There must be something we have to do first, which is, of course, get into our hazard suit. Let's try this door. Same kind of thing, people at work. Getting a little bit more background information, but not really. We don't really know. This guy's really short. Look how big this chair is. It's a tiny little guy. I keep telling you, test chamber, get to the test chamber. But there's no objective. You'll notice there's no on-screen words. There's no mini-map. There's no journal. There's no compass. There's nothing. And I think a lot of kids, if you sat them down in front of this game today and said, play it, they'd be like, I don't know what to do. This is boring. This is stupid. And it's because all these modern day games have trained these kids to just be pulled along on a string. You know, all of the new way of doing video games is make sure your audience is not at all confused in any way. If they are, you're going to have boredom and you're going to have people quitting and not wanting to continue. And I think that's actually doing a disservice. I think these video games from these old times, 10, 20 years ago, were really fun because you could explore these things on your own, and that was the satisfaction of figuring out what to do that kept me coming back for sure. Think about, like, if you've ever played the old King's Quest games, or the I think the King's Quest game is a really good example of, you had to go to a walkthrough to figure out what the hell to do because there was no real direction in that game. You could go to the cobbler or whatever, you could buy the shoes or you could not buy the shoes. And if you didn't buy the shoes, you'd be fucked because you didn't have the shoes when you needed the shoes 3 hours later in the game. A good example of that is there was a moment where you could buy a pie, and you could eat the pie, or you could not eat the pie. And if you chose to eat the pie, you'd be screwed because you needed the pie to throw it in the Yeti's face to have him fall off the mountain, and therefore you can proceed. And if you didn't have the pie, you lose, and too bad. So like they were super punishing, and certainly they were a little bit more punishing than they should be. But this is the kind of thing where you just get so much more joy out of figuring out what to do yourself, instead of having the game lead you along with notifications or overlays or maps or whatever else. There's something about it that is just really satisfying to figure it out yourself. So this is one of the classic Half-Life scenes. We know that we can press things. Let's go over here. He's pounding on this machine. We can get some soda. It doesn't really do anything right now, but later on in the game it'll give us 1 hit point of health. Checking out something that's unreadable. This guy's got a really sweet thermos. Look at that steam coming off his coffee. That's detail right there. That's detail. And then we got this microwave oven. It's cooking stuff. We can press use key on that. It doesn't really seem to do anything. Let's keep cranking this sucker up and we can hear it clicking up. Does a little bit of giblets. He yells at us. And in the new Black Mesa game, the remake of Half-Life, you actually get an achievement for blowing up this guy's lunch. Let's press on. Another thing about the signs in this game, you'll notice that this is just a texture. So if you think about translating this game to another language, no smoking, authorized personnel, anyone who doesn't speak English is not going to understand what that says because it's not going to be translated because it's just a texture. So that was something that I'm sure that they figured out a little bit later on in the game development. Here we see a bunch of lockers. These lockers are enormous compared to the people. Notice the scaling seems a little bit off. But that's okay. It's not horrible. We see Laidlaw, Mark Laidlaw, one of the authors of this game, of the script. We see a bunch of different names here. We know our name's Gordon Freeman, so let's try to find us. Bailey Johnson Freeman. Ah, here we go, Freeman. And I was able to clip right through my door, so I have this sweet little box thing, whatever that is. We'll figure out what that is later. There we go, Mark Laidlaw. Apparently he wrote some other books that we're big fans of. Some scribbled post-it notes, someone's kid. It's kind of a weird spot for that because we're 27, fresh out of MIT, no mention of a family whatsoever, but hey, maybe we have a kid at home. Got one of those sweet thermoses and another mug. Got to find our suit. This is a bathroom we're in here, another health station. Got some toilet paper just chilling here. We got water. Check it out. Our first look at water. The texture kind of floats around. It's kind of cool. Can't turn on the sink. Air dryer. We can turn the dryer on. So that, like, look at these kind of things. Like, yeah, that's super low polygon. It's super, super ugly. But just the fact that I can interact with this environment to turn on the air dryer, that's pretty cool. That was something that they really didn't have back then. Because think about the main competitor to this game would be Doom and Quake. Everything that came before it was just corridor shooters, where you're just lining up enemies to gun down with no real recreation of a real-world environment. And again, no smoking in this area. I don't think people would be smoking in a bathroom. But hey, you never know. Maybe this is middle school. Got some people in the toilet. You can see their feet. Can't get in, but they'll cough at us if we try to get in. So again, we still don't know what to do. I could go back, like, what the hell is going on? But we do know we have to put a suit on, so that I'm going to deduce in my head that our suit is probably going to be in the locker room area. And, okay, that kind of looks like a suit. We see some buttons here, some gameplay affordances telling you the red probably means it's gone, but we do have a yellow one, and the button hasn't been pressed yet because we see these buttons are yellow, and those are red. So we're going to assume we have to press this button, and we do, and we open it, and we see our suit. This is the HEV, Hazardous Environment Suit, and just walk into it. And look, suddenly we have a HUD. We've got our health down at the bottom left. We have a little suit guy at the bottom as well, which indicates our power, which we don't quite know about yet, but we'll figure that out shortly. I think I'd turn my HEV suit volume down a little bit. Let's crank that sucker up. There we go. Probably missed what it was going to tell me, but basically it's saying this is your hazardous environment suit. You have health. It'll protect you from, you know, impacts and poison and whatever else, I think. Something like that.
Weren't you supposed to be in the test chamber half an hour ago?
And there we go. So we know we're late. We know we have to go to the test chamber. So let's figure out where that is. So let's keep pressing on. I had something to say about this, but I completely forgot what that was. I don't know. We'll come back to it. Can't get into any of these other lockers, so let's keep going. Again, I can't believe how fast they made you run. It's so quick. It's crazy. These hallways are pretty cool. They took a lot of time to detail this. Like, look, we got pipes down there. We got guys at terminals.
Please, leave me alone until after the experiment.
After the experiment. Okay, we get it. We got to go that way. And there's ways to tell stories other than giving you just a simple objective and a marker on a map.
Looks like you're in the barrel today.
Telling us we're running late.
Hello, Gordon Freeman. It's good to see you.
Apparently it's good to see me. Another airlock situation. No, maybe not. Just a door. And we're pressing on. Black Mesa. That's where we are. New Mexico. This is kind of a cool little Easter egg. We're actually going to go there soon in this game. Well, not soon. In a couple hours. We're going to go visit that dam. Black Mesa Security Force. Completely useless. Button. And again, the buttons don't really light up. They don't really tell you that, hey, you can press me. But I think new video games kind of figured that trick out. That people don't always know where to go if you don't light the button up. I've played this game so many times. It's like the back of my hand at this point. I know exactly where to go and what to do. But if you're playing this for the first time, you're going to be pretty blown away by all this environment. And also probably kind of stuck at this point, obviously. Or honestly, because it's not so easy to figure out. Hello.
Weren't you supposed to be in the test chamber half an hour ago? Excuse me, Gordon, but I'm rather busy now.
One of the things they do pretty well.
Any ideas on the origin of that new sample?
Oh, let's listen in.
Perhaps.
All right.
Are you running those tunneling lattice calculations again?
Basic
You are completely wrong.
scientist chatter. But they will give you a little bit of background into what's going on.
Is anyone else getting hungry?
And they do a pretty good job of not having two people with the exact same voice right next to each other, at least in these setup places. But further on, we're going to see, like, every scientist seems to have the exact same voice.
Shut down procedure shop.
Pretty cool piece of machinery here. Control room, test lab, access, plasma cells. All right, so cool. It's kind of like a hospital. I can just follow the lines. So I need to go to the test lab, which is the second one down. Some equipment.
You'll just have to wait until after the test.
After the test. God, everyone's just psyched and pumped about this test. Security guard. Whatever this is. Cooling rods or something. And really tall ceilings again. Like they're taking a lot of time to detail all these environments pretty well. It's pretty cool stuff. Control room. All right. We finally made it. And it looks like we're about to get locked into a room and they're going to tell us what's going on.
Ah, Gordon, here you are. We just sent the sample down to the test chamber.
We've boosted the anti-mass spectrometer to 100.
Notice they all have different voices here and different faces. Except the guy in the back.
Administrator is
in
very
the chair.
concerned that we get a conclusive analysis of today's sample. I gather they went to some lengths to get it.
They're waiting for you, Gordon, in the test chamber.
In the test chamber. And here we see the technique of this. We can't access the retinal scanner, so we just learned something there. We have to wait for this guy to do it for us, and that's something that's going to come into play later on in the game. And this entire thing, all of this intensity, the foreshadowing, everything is like so high. Like everything is so tense because we know we're going to do this experiment. We don't know what it's going to be. that whole tram ride, bringing us into this place. It's just about to, something's gonna happen. We just don't know what it is yet, and we're about to find out here. Sorry, I'm a little excited now. I haven't played this in a while, and this is really awesome. Oh Jesus, it's about to go critical. Again, foreshadowing up the butt here. This is like so much foreshadowing. Things are breaking. Everything is not so great, and things are about to get really, really not so great for these guys. Yeah, buttons. Starting to get the hang of the gameplay affordances here, what the buttons look like. Some doors we can just walk into and they open. Others need buttons. Really well lit, but also kind of sparsely detailed. Again, you'd expect a little bit more equipment. Just the floor is just so flat and barren. But we only have one way to go right now. We could see that, and these red lines sort of help us figure that out. Test lab going this way. Test lab. So it's the environmental storytelling here. It's the environmental affordances, getting us on to the next area. And again, looks like we're about to be locked in a room and two different faces.
Deviating a bit from standard analysis procedures today, Gordon.
Yes, but with good reason.
And we're deviating.
Rare opportunity for us.
Another
Purest sample
foreshadowing.
we can
And potentially the most unstable.
get. Now, if you follow standard insertion procedures...
Things are unstable. Shit's breaking.
Some could say that.
But if we follow standard procedures, everything will be fine.
Scenario is extremely unlikely.
Gordon doesn't need to hear all this. He's a highly trained professional. We've assured the administration...
Fresh out of college.
nothing will go
Highly
wrong.
trained professional.
Yes, you're right. Gordon, we have complete confidence in you.
Nothing will go wrong other than the fact that you're going to open up an alien portal and... Oh, spoiler alert. Everyone dies. Now this is cool. This is iconic. This is classic. This is the test chamber of Half-Life 1. So I heard this from Radiator Yang's episode on this this playthrough. Apparently this was built in like over a weekend by a couple developers who crunched and went hard on this. This entire test chamber looks pretty cool. It's very different as far as the color scheme. I like the use of the orange. We don't really know what's going on. We're gonna walk around here. Something's gonna happen with this. It's pretty clear. Like it's gonna be stuff going down. And he tells us to climb up and start the rotors. So I'm gonna do that. But I'm like, okay, what do I do? All right. Oh, ladder. Okay. So now we introduce the climbing mechanic. And ladders, honestly, are the worst thing about the Half-Life series. These things are so hard to control. You basically sprint up them, and you can fall off super easy. It's not like some games where you just click E and it grabs onto it and you can't fall off. No, you're gonna fall off so easy if you don't have your crosshair lined up properly. So you can just walk into it. You go up the ladder. Once you hit to the top, it does like a little hop. So you have to make sure you hop up and off. Climb up and start the rotors. There's only one ladder, so there must be this one here. Again, like this just looks like a terminal. This looks like a texture that blends in to every other texture, but it is in fact a button. So let's press the button. My rotors are starting. See this puppy spinning up. Steaming a little bit. Yeah, that's a classic Half-Life sound. Gets me going. I love this game so much. And honestly, I'm gonna make a hot take here, bold statement. I think Half-Life 1 is a lot more replayable than Half-Life 2. And the reason I think that is because so much of Half-Life 2 is a tech demo of their physics engine. It's look how awesome our gravity gun is, and then moving on to look how awesome our vehicles are. And if you play that over and over again, it gets really boring really fast. Versus Half-Life 1, the combat is just so great in this game. The AI is better than Half-Life 2, I think, in this game. And just the environments are just fun to fight in. It holds up really well. But honestly, if you were to ask me, should I play Half-Life 1 if I'm looking for a new shooter, I don't necessarily know if I would say yes, but I would say definitely make room for this game in your backlog, and you're going to want to play it because it's you just have to appreciate it for what it was and what it's inspired for years after its release back in, of course, 1998. Look for my specimen. All right, so I'm going to go down the ladder again, see what's going on down here. Specimen. Where's my specimen? I'm going to assume I probably shouldn't walk into this flame, but, or whatever this is. So, quick save, that's a thing. Again, if you forget to save, you're going to be in trouble. So, make sure you save. I think it's F5, 6? F6, save, quick save. All right.
What is he doing in there? Nothing you need to worry about, Gordon. Go ahead.
All right. Push the thing into the thing. All right. And again, we got a little bit of a hint at like what you can do to interact with the environment. I can push stuff around just by walking into it. It looks like I have a little crystal here, and I can explain a little bit more about the backstory once I push this puppy in here. Eventually, if you don't do it, I think you fail. I think it ends the game if you don't press it in. Don't push it in. It's not. It's not. It's not shutting down. It's not. Boom. I've run out of fingers and toes to count how many times I've played this sequence. Like, oh shit! That's a cool little effect. I love those little spheres. Or sprites, I guess. And we're transported to an alien dimension. And we're back. Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Get me out! Get me! Oh shit! What up with that? This is a bull squid. We're gonna fight those later. They're super powerful. We're bouncing back and forth between Earth and Zen. This is one of the creepier moments, and you can actually run away from this scene, which makes it even more creepy. But those are Vortigaunts. We're gonna get into that later. And look at that! We're on to another chapter. And notice, no cutscene. No dialogue selection options. This isn't an RPG. This is move your face from one level to another and just keep pressing on, and the environment will tell the story for you. You don't have to leave your eyeballs to understand what's going on. And that was, of course, very new to video gaming back when this came out. This is actually a really cool effect. I never really sat and looked at this. These things can't hurt you, but they're really fun to look at. So we got some giant swinging pipe action. We got the alarms going off. We're like, oh shit, what just happened? And a quick backstory I can actually share with you. So one of the things that Half-Life does extremely poorly is storytelling in terms of what was that stone? What did I do? Why did I push that crystal into the thing? A stone, I meant crystal. Like, what is the point of that? How did that get here? What just happened? What's happening? Like, at the end of the game, it's not so clear what Zen is. But basically, and I can give you a little bit of spoiler alert if you haven't played this game 18 years later, that crystal was given to Black Mesa by the G-Man. And still to this day, because they've never they've never finished Half-Life 3, or never started it, I don't know what. We probably will never get it. We don't know the G-Man's motivations. We just know that he is here, and he's watching over everything. He doesn't seem to be aligned with the aliens. He doesn't seem to be aligned with the Combine in Half-Life 2, which maybe I'll do a playthrough of that later on. He's just sort of his own thing. He seems to be looking out for his own interests. But he does say at the end of the game that he has employers. So we know he has a pretty deep background, but we're never really informed on what that is. We just know that the crystal is here, and we pushed it into the thing. Shit went weird, and now we're going to move on. So we see our first look at, oh man, this is a problem. And this just blew up. This just popped right here to show us that we need to look at it. Our gameplay affords. Access denied. You're like, oh crap. Well, I don't have the eyeballs I need to get through this thing. Maybe this one looks broken and it's sparking, so we can obviously try that. I love this announcer's voice, by the way. It's so good. There we go. We're free. We're in. He's giving CPR to one of the security guards. We see a health pack there in case we lost any health from jumping up and down or falling off the ladder when we tried to start the rotors. But we don't need it. We're good, because I'm a professional ladder climber. And if we wait here long enough, he's actually going to revive this guy. There you go. Nice little animation, him getting up. And I think that's also a little hint that the scientists can help you.
Ah, you have one of the new ATV suits. That should be very useful. Hey, Gordon.
Yes, it was very useful. And everyone seems to know me by name. So let's click a scientist.
Glad to oblige you, fellow scientist.
And this was the first sort of iteration into a squad command system, I think. Half-Life 2 expands on this, but we can tell scientists to follow us or not, or stay put, just by pressing the E button on them. And you can also tell multiple people to follow you. Sometimes they're a little sketchy. Definitely the code, the AI pathing is just awful. They will run into walls and get stuck and then say, I'm not going to go any further. Or they'll say things like, why are you leaving me here? And he literally just got caught on a corner of a texture or something like that.
Here for a while?
But yep, you can tell them to follow you and you can move away and they'll come with you, which is nice. You can also tell them to
I don't suppose you reconsider.
stay put, and you just have to figure out from their reaction which one of the things you've told them to do. Let's grab the scientist boy.
I certainly hope you know what you're
Press
doing.
on here. Oh god. Chunky. Some intestine there. The gibs are just funny, really, honestly. Like, yeah. It's kind of like a dark comedy, honestly. It doesn't take itself too seriously, and it's sort of amusing in a way. Alright, so he's not going to be able to go any further. He tells me he's going to wait for his colleagues. Let's see if Barney's going to follow me. Let's grab him. Oh, F is a flashlight, by the way, which is nice. Yes, we might stand a better chance if we team up, because you have a gun and I have nothing. Let's go. Vault over these things. Let's go. Nope, looks like he can't follow me. Alright, into the elevator I go. Up the spinny ride of death.
Why did you We tried to warn them.
Tried to warn them,
Thought I'd see a resonance cascade.
let alone create one.
Gordon, you're alive.
Thank God for that hazard suit.
I'm afraid to move him, and all our phones are out. Please, get to the surface.
I was 8 years old when this came out, and I
Let
played
someone know we're
it
stranded
to
down here.
death.
You'll need me to activate the retinal scanners. I'm sure the rest of the science
Team will gladly help you. Fun fact, this guy actually gets to the surface. So this character right here is Dr. Eli Vance, who is in Half-Life Episode 2. Because in Half-Life, or sorry, not Episode 2, Half-Life 2. Because when you meet him in Half-Life 2, he says, oh, I was the guy who told you to get to the surface and get help. And yeah, that's this guy. This might be Dr. Kleiner, I don't know. No, Dr. Kleiner doesn't have the mustache, he's the other guy. I don't know who he is, I don't think it's specifically mentioned, but now we have to use this guy to help us out, and we turn around and we see a head crab for the first time. Oh shit, another head crab. We don't know what this is, what it's doing, but we're going to assume that that's an alien, and we don't really want to come near that. So we're going to press on. I feel like that's the title of this episode, press on. Use our retinal scanner. And again, nothing is telling me that I can press this. It's just saying, you know, from the knowledge that I've gathered from playing this game up to this point, I know that retinal scanners open doors to me. So I know that I don't have the eyeballs that'll turn it on, but this guy does. And I know that I can press E to have him follow me. So I will do that. And once he gets close, it's like some kind of invisible contact point here. He'll just start walking up into the retinal scanner to open the door. So there's a lot of things like this. That's how video games sort of use I don't know what the word is, but basically a invisible section that is on this floor that tells the AI to access this once it hits this trigger point. Start walking through here, and oh god, it's a bit of a laser situation. Try to run for it. Oh, there we go. All right, so now we got our first little puzzle here. Time out the laser bursts, but I think we can just crawl under it, and we're gonna be all right. Yeah, we're fine. Easy. Look at that. I'm so smart. I bested you. On we go. Loading. Quick. Fast, fast, fast. So back when I played this on our computer, I think it was the family computer, was the very first computer we had was a 486. It ran at 25 megahertz, and you could turbo clock by pressing a physical button on the machine to turbo to 33 megahertz. And it actually had a digital readout, a little LCD display that said 25 or 33, depending if you were pressing that turbo button. It was the coolest thing. Ran Windows 3.1, and then our next machine was a Pentium 1, 200 megahertz, and that's, I think, what I played this game on. So it ran actually really, really slow. That loading would have taken, you know, multiple minutes to load, but it's just loading the different maps or different environments, moving from one area to another. But now, today's technology, it's just, you'll laugh at that. Oh, God. All right, so he's going for my head, and I got to run. I still have no weapon. And again, building the tension, making it so that you're scared, you're running away. Things are not so easy up here in Black Mesa after we just opened a rift to another dimension. Cutty lasers, again, telling you that probably not gonna want, we're not gonna want to walk in front of that. That's gonna be an issue for your well-being. But we can't go backwards because this just locked on us. Oh, just kidding, no it didn't. But we do have a head crab there, and there's nowhere to go back there anyway, so we have to keep going. Crouch and walk by this thing. Dead security guard. Does he have a gun on him? Gun on him? No, nothing. Alright, that's a bummer. Oh, God. Alright, so, yep. Got another laser. Gotta watch out for that. Ooh. Yummy. Chunky. And still no weapon. Oh, what's this? The most iconic weapon in first-person shooter history. It is the crowbar. And this, what's cool about this gun is, well, gun. What's cool about this weapon is that it's useful for the entire game. And you can use it to break boxes, kill head crabs, etc., etc. They do a good job using glass in this game. Nice use of glass. And again, you'll notice like we're just going back through the way we came. We saw everything working really nicely. Everything was going swimmingly up until this point where I caused the major rift. And now everything's broken, so we're going to go back through the environments that we've already seen, but we're going to see them in a broken state, which was sort of a new trope, but now it's a pretty common thing to see, especially on games like, I want to say Dead Space is a good example of that. And, yeah. Maybe the Bioshock games? No, it's kind of already busted up by the time you get there. Alright, so we're gonna press the button. Oh, Jesus. Well, we just fucked those guys. Good luck, have fun. Maintenance access. Let's go see if there's anything I can scrounge up off these guys, if I remember correctly. There is some power. A little bit chunky. Yep. So this, we don't know what this is yet until you walk on it, but it is indeed a power capsule. It gives you 15% power. And power is just like armor. It's just another word for armor. And this is a little flashing red light to tell you, hey, look over here. Look over here. See this ladder? You should probably go up that. And we're going to go up that. So on ladders, you can actually turn all the way around. You can turn full 360. Very difficult to use these ladders. I'm probably going to fall off of these things multiple times. There we go. Now our first look at zombies. I think this guy's going to get got. Yeah. So I think, actually, if I were to get up here fast enough, he would have survived that. And now we have our inventory selection at the top left. I can use my crowbar on this guy. And you basically just hit him between the swipes. And if you look, one of the creepy-ass things is that this was a scientist. You realize that right away. Why would a zombie have pants on? Why is it wearing a scientist outfit? Because, well, it was a scientist once. And you'll notice also... Oops, that was my bad. I'm just saving my ammo. You'll notice also that I don't have the HD pack on. I should have mentioned that a while ago. I think that should have no business in my Half-Life run-through. I absolutely despise the HD pack. I don't know why. It's just, it changes the models and it totally takes away the feel of this game, of the feeling of playing it when I was little, so I don't like to turn it on. Otherwise, the zombies and the security guards and the scientists and everything would have better textures, better, what do you call these, character models, and the weapons would also look a little bit different too. The Glock becomes a Beretta, the MP5 becomes a M4 or something like that. So I like sticking with it the way that I remember it, which was with the HD pack off. Again, back the way we came. Still can't use the retinal scanners. And notice everyone we've come across is pretty much dead. And now we get a first glimpse at how the zombies become zombies. Because you look at this guy, he's got a head crab on his head, and that guy's got a head crab on his head, and oh shit, the head crabs turn things into zombies. That's no good. We're gonna take this guy out. Headshots do extra damage, you'll see. I turned off auto aim. I don't like that garbage in my life as well. And we can either choose to save this guy from becoming a zombie. Honestly, it doesn't do anything, but give him some mercy. Alright. Recognize this area? Thought so. No smoking. Back in the kitchen. Just trails of blood. And, oh man. Yep, our lunch is still fucked. But we can do this. We can get some pop. Get some soda pop. And look at that. It's giving me 1 health. 94, 95, 96, 97, 98. A couple more. 99, 100. Perfect. Look at that. Drink up. It's good for you. Authorized personnel. We're back inside our little hut here. This guy didn't make it. I guess those guys finished pooping and then died somewhere else. But this one's swinging open, which is a nice little touch. And we can see that apparently Guthrie likes to keep random magazines in his locker. So that's cool. And we can go back to our Freeman locker and see, oh, look, a power module. Perfect. Get us up to 41. Reload. Nothing interesting on this side. I don't think there's anything interesting over here either. But now we see that, oh, look, these first aid kits. First aid things on the wall. So we can use those. Don't need to. But basically, you would click E and hold on these, and it will heal you up a little bit. These are still locked. Nothing going on here. But I know that I can come back for first aid if I need it. And on we go. Back to the entrance. Back the way we came. How do we get out of here? We don't know. We don't have a map. Okay, this was all busted up. This is new. Maybe I can crawl up here. No. No, that's no good. Oh, there's a head crab right there. Let's pick him off. Ah, unbreakable glass. See, one thing that this game does very poorly is give you a visual indicator of when glass can be broken and when it can't be broken. And I think most games nowadays do a wire glass, like they put wire within the glass to indicate to you that you can't break it. But in Half-Life, pretty much all the glass is all the same. You just have to hit it to figure out if it can be broken or not. This exploded visual and auditory audio cue that you have to go this way. And of course you see a little head crab with his back turned on you, so you're gonna die. Can we leave? Can we go out this way? Nope. Can't do that. Can't do that. See, the button's gone, that's kind of funny. I think, well, the chair's knocked over, but I think I can turn this off. Yeah, I can turn off the alarm. That's nice. Crunch. Everything's broken and mangled and messed up. I think there's another head crab in here. Yep, there he is. Deadski. Let's go up this little vent. There's a lot of vents in this game. Get used to it. Now I see a little cutscene, or sorry, a little sequence here. Thinks he survived, and there's another one. You got, son. You got. It's a scripted sequence, is what I should say. Even if I could break this glass and get in, there's no way to save him, because once scripted sequences start, you can't end them. Usually the character has no way to interact with the sequence. This is kind of a really cool lighting effect. Check this out. This guy managed to tie up this zombie here. Pretty sweet environmental storytelling. And I can actually take him out. And I don't think I can turn the computer off, but it's a pretty cool effect. I like that. Light switch. Nope, sparking doesn't work. Periodic table. Move on to the coolant reservoir. I heard some gunshots. That one got. Oh no. Oh. He didn't make it. So sad. But good work. Good job. Now it's time to enter the authorized personnel only space with this really, really annoying backing track. It just loops over and over and over and over and over and over and over. It's really annoying. So a little puzzle here, just get through. Now we see our first Hound Eye, new enemy. These are actually kind of cute, to be honest. They're like little puppies. Look at this. But then it's like, oh, I'm gonna blow your eardrums out. I think it's just an area of effect kind of situation. Once you get close to it, it starts to do its little sound blast thing. Kind of cute little puppies.
Oh no.
Another scripted sequence here. Again, dark comedy. Think dark comedy. Made it into the vent, thinks everything's good, and up. Nothing but chunks. Ah, but this guy made it. It's just stupid, honestly. It's just funny. He's freaking out.
Let's go.
But he'll follow me, so cool. All right, but let's see. I don't want to bring you yet because you might get shot up if I take you with me. So let's scout up ahead and then come back for him. I love how thin this crosshair for this pistol is, by the way. It's what I modeled my Counter-Strike crosshair off of. The pistol is actually a very nice weapon. You'll use it the entire game because it's super, super accurate. Once you get the MP5 machine gun, it's very inaccurate, but you're going to want to hang on to your pistol just for those long-range shots where you can plank out guys hit by hit. And again, G-Man, what's his deal? Just hanging out, just looking over things. Can't kill him, can't shoot him. He doesn't respond to any kind of bullet damage, but we have more Hound Eyes. And AI is smart in this game. They'll get damaged and they'll run away. And then they'll come back and then you shoot them. So, not that smart. Alright, we have an upper level here. We're in some kind of hazardous waste area, perhaps. I'm not really sure. I don't really need this health, but I can jump in here and get it if I need it. This is locked, which is kind of strange. It's just like a room with a health kit in it. And this is another scripted sequence here, but we're not going to go to that yet. We're going to come over here and open this. Kill this head crab. Jesus. Keep moving through this area. Oh, okay. It's a little bit of a situation there. The little danger thing was an indicator that it's going to blow up when you shoot it, that it's explosive barrels. We'll find another scientist here, just chilling and hiding. This guy we can actually use.
All right.
All right, he's going to come with me. Okay, cool. Gonna walk him along this little catwalk. Maybe we can catch the G-Man up ahead. No such luck. He just walked into a dead end, apparently. But look at this retinal scanner. If I had killed this guy, or if I didn't find him, I would never be able to get those sweet grenades. So lucky for me, he's able to open the door and able to get some ammo. Ah, yes, I just remembered one of the things I was going to say. So another really cool thing about Half-Life is that up until this point, pretty much every game just had a weapon lying on the ground, or a weapon that you would get off a dead enemy. And then ammo would just be found in like floating power-ups or just strewn throughout the level in random spots. But what Half-Life does very well is put ammo and supplies in places where you would expect ammo and supplies to be. So I would not be able to open this little security area if not for finding this guy. And of course, this is where I find the ammo and supplies, which is cool. It makes sense. It doesn't make sense if there was just a random pile of ammo sitting here after I killed that zombie. That doesn't make any logical sense. So they did a really good job at building the world in such a way that everything is logically done, and everything has its place. I'm a crazy son of a bitch, and this guy has served his purpose, so he's gonna die. That's one of the things that you can't do in Half-Life 2 is kill NPCs like that. It's so satisfying. I'm crazy, I know. I think this is gonna open. Yep. think this grenade might blow up as soon as it leaves my hand. Yeah, I fucked that up. So I guess you pull the pin, and it immediately starts ticking down, and then it explodes as soon as you let go. So that was my bad. I just really hurt myself. Couldn't remember if it worked like Counter-Strike or not. But I think we'll be alright. So again, closet, supply closet. There's some ammo in there. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense than having ammo just sitting in a random spot or strewn over the ground or no, on some random table in the cafeteria or something, you know. Let's save. We haven't saved in a while. And we're coming up on an hour. I got about 5 more minutes left. Let's see how much further we can get. This guy's hanging out in the dumpster.
Yes, but this is as far as I go.
This is as far as I go. Dumpster diving. What I can do is move some barrels around. This is kind of a cool feature. We learned that from the pushing of the specimen into the beams. We can move these barrels around. Peekaboo. Don't have a use for the barrels, I don't think. Maybe I could throw one down into this hole. I don't think so, though. Also, if you press E and pull at the same time, it moves it super fast. I can like push it really far, and it kind of sticks me to it. It's not a really good system. It makes it a little bit difficult to use, but it also gets caught on dead bodies. If I remember right. Yeah, it's caught on dead bodies, but you can give them like that, and then you can push the thing by them. We missed this guy coming out of the vent, so he's gonna die. And then we drop down into the hole. But not yet, because there's a little bit of a headcrab situation to deal with. That didn't work out so well. Cool little environment here with some water. Fun fact about water in the Gold Source engine is that you can drop into any tiny little body of water, no matter how shallow, and it will not hurt you whatsoever. So I can drop from a height of like 20 stories up into a tiny little patch of water that's like 2 pixels in height, and it won't damage me. You could do some cool tricks with that in Counter-Strike. You could jump from a high height. There we go. And yep, perfect. I'm up where I needed to be on the other side of this fence, just by opening up that valve. And again, the valve didn't really give you any indication that it can be pulled or turned. It was just there, and you have to sort of figure that out yourself. And you also have to figure out where to go, because if you twisted that valve and didn't realize you have to go upwards, then yeah, you're gonna drown. But the good news is if I had turned and looked, this guy comes out of this vent, out of this grate. So that was sort of a little gameplay hint that, again, super easy to miss because this game doesn't tell you to look there unless you happen to be looking there, you wouldn't see it, that this is where I have to go. It's sort of a little hint that say, hey, this guy's climbing out of this grate, maybe I can do that too, and that's what you have to do. So you have to be really aware. There's a lot of stuff that they allow you to miss, which makes for a very confusing playthrough if you're playing this for the very first time. All right, some weird texture situations happening here. We got a room, really tall ceilings. I'm gonna assume we have to go up to this giant lever. Again, it's not even flashing, and again, ammo being found where you'd expect it to on the dead enemy that would carry a firearm. And it's not flashing, but it looks like a lever I need to pull, so let's pull it. And out come the head crabs, and down goes this thing. So I need to hurry up and get on this little thing. Hurt me big time there. And there's this weird, like, invisible force pushing these head crabs down this thing, because they'll just keep coming at me. It doesn't really make sense to shoot at them. Oh boy, I'm dead. Ooh, that was close. Almost died. Almost fell off. So I basically just dodge them, and I'll fight them at the bottom of this thing. But I think if I jump quick enough, I can get up to this somewhat hidden area here that I can't access otherwise, right here at this spot. If I don't catch this on the way down, I'm not going to be able to get to it. So I'm going to try to do that. If these head crabs don't kill me. Yep. Nope, just missed it. Damn. And now I'm in a pit of head crabs. Oh. Oh. No, that didn't work out so well. Panicked. Apparently that's an insta-death. Did not know that. He falls into the crate. This is our first look at boxes, which we'll see every frickin' where. Glad I saved the game back there. It's helpful. So many frickin' head crabs. We can do this. How about this? Suck it. Oh, I missed. Suck it. Wow, look at that weird, that weird physics situation there. I realized that, okay, this is a sort of hint here that as I shot that guy, he fell into the crate, so maybe, oh, I can break crates. That's cool. So how about I break the rest of them and see maybe there's something inside. And look at that. This one has a pistol. This one has a ammo. This one has nothing. So that's kind of like a little mini game. See what you're gonna get. I think these aren't set. I could be wrong. I have to double check that. But I don't know if the what's the contents of the crate are always the same or if they're randomized. I think what happens in Half-Life 2 is that the crates always give you what you need. They have some kind of built-in code for that. But in this game, I think they might be random, but I'm not positive. It's either I either have that correct or I've reversed it where these are gonna give you what you need. Gonna save. There's a little jumping puzzle up ahead here. That was a bull squid. Really fun animal, or alien, I guess, to kill. Messed up my bridge. Whoop. Butt clenched a little bit there. Now I know, okay, that's pretty clear what I have to do. I have to jump here to here to here to there. So Half-Life loves doing the platforming. The tagline for Half-Life on the box, I still have a retail box for Half-Life 2. I don't have one for Half-Life 1, unfortunately, is run, think, shoot, live. And that's what they're trying to get you to do. Think about your actions. I don't want to break this. I think that's breakable. I don't remember. No, not breakable. The sound is a giveaway that you can't break this. This is what it sounds like. Oh! Okay. I lied. You can break it. Cool. Didn't know that. Yeah, that's enough hits that will break some. What's over here now? Let's check this out. I didn't think that would break. I don't remember that. Wow. I think I just skipped ahead like 2 steps and just hurt myself more than anything. Yep, that's all I did. That was where I came from. Didn't help whatsoever. Little boxes. Little boxes make me want to push him over the edge. Got a bull squid down there to deal with. I'm going to take him out. Got a pistol, which is super accurate. The pistol has 2 firing modes. It has the single fire with the left trigger, left click, and then it has the rapid fire with the right click, which I can shoot really fast, but it's a little less accurate. You see him shooting in a circle around the guy, so I'm just going to do that. These are kind of gross, but they're giant tentacles. They're little barnacles. They're called barnacles. So what they do is if I walk into one of their tongues, it grabs me, and it's going to suck me up and then chomp on my head. Kind of just an annoying thing to deal with. Not really particularly interesting to fight in any way. Breaking some of those for some power. I'm going to save. My health is a little low, and I know I'm over an hour here, but let me keep going just a little bit more. I like this section here. Down the ladder. Cool texture. Rusty. And you'll see, like, one of the things that I fail to realize a lot of times when I play this is think about all of the environments that we just went through and all the different textures, and now we're in suddenly less than 2 minutes later in a completely different environment than we were before. And Half-Life does such a good job at transitioning you from one environment to the next without even realizing that you've done it. Now we've got this puzzle to figure out. Nearly every big arena like this is a puzzle. You'll need to figure out how to move on to the next stage. Half-Life 2 does that a little bit more than Half-Life 1 as far as puzzles go. And Half-Life 2 actually does a really good job with having each chapter feel a little bit different than the last. Doesn't seem to be anything in here. But that's kind of like Half-Life 2's thing. It's like make every single chapter be a completely different experience from the last one that you just played. We have the first 2 chapters in Half-Life 2 are like the setting of the environment and sort of the build-up of what's about to happen. And then you have the scene of you driving the airboat for a while. That's kind of annoying. And then you have the other ones like Ravenholm, which is its totally separate game, pretty much. It's a totally separate chapter with a very different vibe. It's like a horror game within a game. And then you've got the car level, which is very similar to the boat, so on and so forth. So each level sort of feels a little bit different from the last, and that's what they were going with. And here is kind of similar, but there's more platforming puzzles built into each of those environments. We got some water here. I think what I did last time was step into this green water and it killed me, so I'm going to save my game, see what happens if I just jump in. Oh, okay, it doesn't kill me. Chompies, little chomper things. That might have gotten me last time. Try to break these. Yeah, no such luck. Crouching. No, I can't see anything. See if I can get out of this thing. I don't think I can get out. No, stuck in here, so I guess we gotta swim. And we can't go that way, because that's gonna chomp me to death. We can hold our breath for a decent amount of time. Not forever, but a decent amount of time. I think I can fit through these. Yep, there we go. All good. Swimming around in the briny wastewater. Health kit strategically placed. Very helpful. And I'm out on the other side. Easy. Not much of a puzzle, was it? But it's sort of introducing you to new concepts. It's teaching you how to swim. Teaching you about barnacles, how to avoid them. And it's teaching you that you're going to run out of air if you swim for too long, and that you want to avoid these things, which we'll see more of later on. And you'll notice the barnacle tongues don't go underwater, which is a change, I think, in Half-Life 2. They do, in fact, go into the water. Makes sense that they would do that. And we're out on the other side. So looking for a good stopping point. I'm going to press on just a little more. Loading. Again, going through these weird corridors. Look at all these textures. Look at these lights. This is such a cool little area. For some reason, I really like this architecture, how they did this, and the lighting, the really green lighting. Look at the difference here. Look at that environmental change. So it sort of signifies that we're moving on to a new area in this game. Maybe. Let's find out. Oh, maybe not. We're back. We're on the other side, and yeah, we're out of the water and into the floaty box puzzle with a giant pit of death at the bottom. For some reason, I still don't understand. So many games love the giant pit of death. One that comes to mind right away is Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Academy. No, sorry. Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast. One of my all-time favorite Star Wars games. It's so fun. I recommend it highly. I might actually do a playthrough of Jedi Outcast. But that game has so many endless pits of death. And I think it's partially because Star Wars itself has those endless pits of death, like in the Death Star where the Emperor gets thrown off. Spoiler alert. For some reason, that game just loves it, and Half-Life 2 and 1 also no exception to that. They love their giant pits of death, and it's the platforming stuff. This is stupid. I don't enjoy this. This is boring to me. It's teaching you how to move better and easier and be more proficient at the movement, but I think it's very boring, and I do not enjoy this puzzle. I remember sitting next to my dad and watching him play this game growing up, and him just like totally sucking it up right here. Not a fun level. I don't enjoy it, and they could just do without this. Just give me a corridor to walk down. But it's all about that run, think, shoot, live, right? I should get that, like live, laugh, love, like people put on their walls. Run, think, shoot, live. Don't steal that. These are cool little environments. Like, look at this, the texture and the definition, how the walls jut out like that. It's just kind of cool. I like it. I like the color change. I like this blue to green situation, the rustiness. And it's like we're in this giant facility. There's so much going on here. So many different environments to traverse through. And we know that because we went on the tram and we saw ourselves coming through all those diverse areas. And all that all that jumping puzzle and everything just to get on the other side. And we've made it to an elevator. This is new. We haven't seen this. Look how big this elevator is. You could probably fit a lot of stuff on there. And we're going to press the button. And we're going up or down. We don't know, but we know that we're on to a new chapter, Office Complex. And this is a perfect spot to stop. So one of the cool things about Half-Life, which I've been mentioning, is the difference in environments. And Office Complex is one of those that sticks with me, that I remember very well, very memorable, for a multitude of reasons. One, because we're finally through all that industrial crap and into an area where people would actually inhabit, and we get to see what that looks like. This guy's crawling up there. $10 says he dies. We see this little zappy thing. This is environmental storytelling. This is telling you, do not walk near the zappy thing because you're going to get zapped. That's all that is. If they just had this right here and say you were a playtester and you were like, oh, I'm going to come off this elevator. This is fun. Ow. Why did that happen? This is stupid. I hate this game. It's this. It's setting you up to making sure they give you 4 head crabs, not just 1, in case I was looking over here and wasn't paying attention. Here's another storytelling here, showing you how those barnacles work, if you hadn't gotten eaten by one already. But yeah, if I hadn't looked at that and I had turned around and looked this way instead, turn around again and see I've got 4 head crabs ready to go, enough to make sure that I see that this is a zappy, and I don't want to be hit by that. It also gives you a little bit of health here. In case you come out of that last level with hardly any health at all, you can open the door and have a little bit of a treat for you. And it saves you from being stuck in a situation where you only have 2 HP and you can't survive what's to come. Because one of the things up ahead is a really annoying puzzle with not being able to touch electrified water. And it's really difficult to get by it without touching it just a little bit. Here's all the vent crawling that I talked about earlier. I've got this flashlight I can turn around to see, or turn on to see where I am. There's so much vent crawling. It does get kind of annoying. A lot of big fans as well. It's kind of weird. A lot of vents and fans. This guy's got to die. We'll just check out this really quick. A fun fact about these cockroaches actually have AI built into them, and they will run away from you. They've designed the cockroaches so that they respond to your actions. I think also they prefer dark places. They'll run away from your lights as well. So this is instant death. I know I'm going to die if I go after that. I don't remember how to get this. This is... Let's watch me die. How do I grab that ammo? Oh, okay, I'm an idiot. Ow! Wrecked. Oh, it just smacked me, but it didn't kill me. Oh! Yeah, I can't deal with that. I actually don't even need that ammo, but that's how I would do it if I needed it. Pushes you, but it doesn't kill you. Interesting. I'm not even near it. Yo. 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 Hitboxes, please. Whatever, I don't need it. I'm gonna go back. Fun. Yay. This is my weapon selector. I can see I've got categories here. I started to mention this a long time ago, but I forgot to. Crowbar is the melee weapons. Pistol. Eventually submachine guns. Shotgun. Grenades. All that stuff is eventually going to get filled out. It kind of gives you an idea of like, ooh, look at all these weapons I'm going to get later. I like that. And some of the weapons in this game are so great. Things like the Tau cannon, glue-on gun, things that were for some reason missing from... Look at the cockroaches coming out of that. For some reason missing from Half-Life 2. Don't know why. Barnacles. We just saw what happens. You go up, chunks come down. We're going to get rid of that. And it shines a light on it. It tells you, like, hey, look out for that. showed you what happens if someone runs into it, and then shows you a giant light on it to show you what happens if you go near that, just so you can avoid it. There's another one coming down. Look, Valve, a little Easter egg.
Well,
Creator of the game itself, putting their stamp of approval all over everything. And this also introduces you to a new concept in this level, which is the idea of these ceiling tiles being busted out and enemies coming from the ceiling, which is a new thing we haven't seen before yet. We can come in here, turn these lights on or off. Not sure what I did. Oh, of course, high voltage. Look at the environment. This thing was previously on. Now it's not because I've clicked the switch that says high voltage off. And now I can proceed. So I think this is a really good spot to stop. Hopefully you like this. I'm kind of just winging this, to be completely honest. I don't have any background in game design or anything like that, but I love this game, and I think I have a decent grasp about what they were trying to accomplish when they made some of these environments and made some of these decisions as they made the game. So hopefully you can learn a little bit about some game design from me, someone who knows nothing about game design. But if not, maybe you'll just watch some fun gameplay, or maybe you're here just because you love my dulcet tones. I don't know. Maybe you're just a fan of Hot Drop podcast and somehow found your way here. But either way, this has been part 1 of many for my Half-Life 1 walkthrough. Just watch for the other episodes coming out soon. I don't know when I'm going to do them, but hopefully within the next week or so, I'll put out episode 2, which will take us through Office Complex and beyond. So thanks for watching. If you made it this far, good for you. It's been an hour and 15. And yeah, I'll see you in the next episode.